Everyone wants to know, what does it actually take to grow all of your own food? For the last 5 years, we've been inching closer to self-sufficiency on our half acre. And today, I'm sharing the real lessons I've learned about what it takes to grow a year's worth of food in a small space.
That's pretty cool. They should be a lot bigger.
But they didn't get a lot of sun.
No, I don't think we planted them far enough apart. They needed more space.
The first lesson, focus. Don't get distracted by other pursuits. Make feeding your family your top priority. Treat your garden like your life depends on it, because in many ways, it does. The second tip is to choose the right crops. I wanted a big Three Sisters garden this year. Unique heirloom corn, rare beans, and old squash varieties. But here's the truth. If one variety fails, the whole system falls apart. The real key is staple crops, ones you can actually depend on. Varieties that are resilient and proven over time. For me, sweet corn is non-negotiable. Organic sweet corn is so hard to find, so we have to grow it ourselves. Next year, I'm planting Stowell's Evergreen, a white heirloom corn bred back in the 1840s. Why? Because it holds its sweetness longer, which gives busy homesteaders like myself a longer harvest window. That's the kind of crop you want in a survival garden. On the other hand, a big success this year has been Amish paste tomatoes. Next year, I will grow even more of them inside of our greenhouse to get a longer harvest window. These can be used for sauces and also for fresh eating. Delicata squash was another big success. I planted 2 50-foot rows and grew a lot of them. These are delicious roasted and also as a soup. They taste almost like a sweet potato texture. The only thing I don't like is that they don't seem to last as long as a variety like butternuts do. So I've been using the ones going bad as feed for my chickens. Next year, I want to do a mix of butternut, delicata, and pumpkins for variety. We did grow a few pumpkins this year, and the best ones were pumpkins that actually volunteered. A few seeds sprouted in a spot where I had fed pumpkin to my chickens last year, and it produced a crazy strong vined plant that produced 5 or more pumpkins. I even tried early this year growing a massive State Fair winter pumpkin, and it did not survive. Sometimes it's funny how things work out better when you put the least amount of effort into it. Another tip is to focus on crops that actually feed you. That would be corn, potatoes, sweet potatoes, squash, and carrots. These are calorie-dense foods that fill your belly and store well. They're the foundation of self-sufficiency. You want to build your garden around these crops. These rows of carrots took a while because of weeds and close spacing, but they're mostly grown now, and I can keep them in the ground until I need them. The ground acts kind of like a refrigerator essentially, and keeps them fresh until you need them. I like doing this if you have the space to do so, to keep them in the ground, rather than take up space in a fridge or take all the time it needs to process for canning. This is much easier. Sweet potatoes, unfortunately, were a huge failure this year. Usually they are the most dependable crop, but due to getting overwhelmed with weeds early on in the spring and not fixing that problem until midsummer, they basically didn't grow at all. In the end, I only was able to harvest a few tiny sweet potatoes that won't even be worth saving for food. I'm hoping these will keep long enough just to be able to grow more sweet potato slips for next year so I can grow a better harvest next summer. You grow slips from the sweet potatoes, which are different from growing a regular potato that you would plant in the ground. Sweet potatoes require you getting small sprouts from the sweet potato and planting that rooted sprout in the ground to get a huge sweet potato plant. So as long as I can get slips from this lousy harvest, I won't call it a complete failure. Another mistake I made was distance. The further your garden is from your house, the more likely it gets neglected. Put high-maintenance crops like carrots and onions close to your front door where you'll see them daily. Crops like potatoes, those can go further out. They don't need much work until harvest. So you want to design your garden around how often each crop needs your attention. Onions are another crop where I kind of neglected them, similar to the sweet potato crop. I did not weed the onion row, nearly as much as I should have, and that resulted in me getting lots of very small onions. So onions are going to be another crop that we plant a lot closer to our home next year so that we can keep an eye on them better and keep on top of weeding so that we can actually get really large onions that will store a lot better. Lesson number 2 is to protect your crops. Deer, groundhogs, rabbits, they'll undo months of work overnight. After losing my entire corn plot last year, I finally invested in electric fencing. It's the best purchase I've ever made for the homestead. If you're serious about food security, protect your food like your life depends on it. Another food source this fence keeps safe is our meat. We're raising meat chickens inside of this electric fence, and I timed this so that the birds could graze over my garden crops once I was done with them for the season. Now I can use the bolted lettuce and weedy rows full of chickweed. They can all be mowed down by the chickens, while the chickens fertilize the soil for next season. It's the first time we're growing chickens for meat, and I am so excited to have them soon in our freezer. This may have to be a new food addition each year at the end of the growing season to have meat birds eat up the greens while also producing a healthy meat source for our family. We have lost chickens in this area before to raccoons, so now having the electric fence gives peace of mind and this comforting sense of security. Every winter I sit down and plan next year's garden, and every year that plan changes, and that's okay. The plan isn't the goal, the learning is. This year, I learned a few small tweaks like reshaping my beds for better sunlight could make a huge difference. Even with these setbacks, we still had plenty of wins. We grew enough potatoes for the year, lots of squash, plenty of chicken feed, and a kitchen garden that kept us in fresh food all summer long. The freezer is full of peppers, green beans, and tomatoes that are waiting to become sauce. That's progress, not perfection, but definitely progress. So if you're chasing the dream of growing all your own food, focus, choose the right crops, protect them, and keep learning every season. Don't chase perfection, chase progress, because every year you grow, you get just a little bit more freedom. And that's what it's all about.
One over here.
Oh, wow. I want to see what they look like. Let me see. Wow, you're really good. They're small, I think, because I planted them too close.
Very close.
Wow.
The one that looks stay.
Huh?
Can I put these in your pocket?
Yeah, I'll take them.
I got a lot of them.
Yeah, keep going.